Time now for the week that was. Melanie Wilkinson joins us in here after, a 2-week hiatus?
Yeah, we're going to call it not a vacation.
A little break. Yeah.
A little break between you and I, not just because we were busy. And,
yeah, you've been really busy.
Yeah, so here we are. We're back. A lot of things have happened in 2 weeks.
That's right. Some recalls going on here in the county, right?
Yeah,
Do we want to begin with that story?
Yeah, we can. It's not a common thing to happen. Someone, a rural Waco resident, has filed a recall petition against York County Commissioner Leroy Ott in District 2. And the process is somewhat complicated. It's the clerk's office their job to clear it all up and guide us through the process, because a recall is not a thing to be taken lightly, because this is an elected official who has to have been in office for at least 6 months before a petition can even be filed. And one has been filed. I'm just going to give you kind of a quick rundown of how this all works. So now that this woman has filed the petition, Commissioner Ott has 20 days to respond. That means he can make an official statement under 60 words that will be placed on the petition. That will be circulated. Then once that happens, or not, he can choose not to have one at all. Then after that happens, the clerk's office will provide all the petitions sheets to this person, and she can start the circulation. And it has to only be done in District 2. It doesn't pertain to any of the rest of the county. So she has 30 days then to circulate these petitions, to get signatures from people who are registered voters. They have to be registered in order for that signature to count. Okay, then she has to get, in this situation, at least 442 signatures. And that is 35% of the total votes cast
in the
District 2 County Commissioner race in last November's general election. So that's pretty specific.
So all of that has to take place before the actual recall vote would happen.
And that has to be achieved by that 30-day deadline.
Yep.
Now, if it's achieved, then the petitions are given to the clerk's office. Then they have 15 days, and they have to go through and validate that all of those signatures are true and these are all registered voters. If all of that happens, then they will take the matter to the county board, who then has to pass a resolution allowing a special election. Now, the question that I had was, well, that's kind of a strange situation, because the county board is voting on the recall of one of its members. Right. However, as the clerk explained it to me, they're pretty much mandated by the state to do it. If they don't, there's ramifications. Sure. So it will happen. Then at that point, she will ask the Secretary of State's office, to allow her to have an all mail-in vote at a special election. A date will be set, and only District 2 registered voters will be able to vote. And then the majority rules. So if the majority would say yes, then Commissioner Ott would be recalled, which means he would leave office. If they vote no, then everything stays the same. Do
you know what the complaint would be from this individual toward Commissioner Ott?
It was very vague. It's I don't have the exact wording right here. I think it's in the story. It said perception of not being trustworthy.
Right.
That's all. There was nothing specific or a certain action or a certain stance or vote or anything like that.
And as of right now, there's no response yet.
There's no response yet,
Commissioner Ott, right?
No, as of yesterday at 4:45, nothing had been filed yet.
Gotcha. So something to follow along with here, as this will continue through the month of July into August with all the signature gathering, if it gets to that. So
if it gets to that, yes. And I did have a question from a reader this morning. What if that number isn't achieved by that 30-day deadline? Nothing happens then. Then it just stops and it's over, and it's like it never happened.
Interesting. So
yeah.
you can follow along with that at justmelaniew.com and all the latest.
And as
right
all
there.
those deadlines arrive, I'll have updates on that. So
there we go. Anything else? I know, speaking of county commissioners, I know they're beginning the restarting of the solar zoning conversation that kind of came to a halt here within the last couple of months.
Well, things went quiet. As we talked earlier, they had passed a split vote. They passed the regulations as they were written with large setbacks. Then they realized that that's had to be done by resolution. So they came back 2 weeks later to take another vote to pass the resolution. But when they took that vote, Commissioner Ott changed his vote from the 2 weeks prior. So now it's in limbo again. So those didn't pass, so there are no regulations, so they started over. Now they wanted to wait just a little bit because they were having those town hall meetings for the comprehensive plan, and they wanted to hear if people talked about solar zoning and if they could get a gauge of that. Well, those have all taken place. Then there was some talk about postponing and waiting till valuation protests and the budget season's over, but Commissioner Chairman Randy Overmeyer, he told the other board members last week and 2 weeks prior, he's like, vacation's over. We have a lot to do anyway. We have to get back into it. So they're going to start talking about those really heavily at their next meeting in a week and a half. Eventually, it sounds like they will be having a large public hearing again after they formulate what exactly they're going to be voting on this next time. So people will have a chance to see those regulations and then come in a public forum to voice their opinions about that.
Very good. That'll be July 22nd, I believe.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Yep,
Yeah.
July 22nd.
Well, not the hearing, but just another meeting. Just another
You're
meeting.
Right.
And then they'll formulate those regulations even more. Then they'll come back
Gotcha.
and they'll set a public hearing. I would guess it probably won't happen till September. So
Interesting.
yeah.
Another thing to follow along with
Another
here
thing to follow.
over
There's
the
a lot
next
of
few
county
months.
stuff, but there's things happening in the city too.
Yeah.
So we haven't heard the words Project Access in a while. Things have been very quiet on the public end. I think there's been things going on the back end as far as working with property owners. But now in the last 2 weeks, Dr. Sue Crawford, our city administrator, told the council Project Access is on track. So it hasn't gone away. It's just things have been happening. I think right now, the way it sounded, they're going to be sending out certified letters to owners of large properties, inviting them to be with the appraisers when they're on their properties so that they can put a value as to what those easements will be. That's what's happening right now. So,
can you remind folks what
is
the Project Access is?
Yeah, sure. Because I guess
it's the bike trail. It's the
we haven't talked about it in so long that yes, this is that very large project that's being paid for with the federal dollars. And it appears those federal dollars are still coming through that grant, regardless of what's happening on that level of government. It'll include major extension of the bike trails out to the interchange to the school system. Also, that large pedestrian bridge over the interchange area, spanning from McDonald's to Wendy's areas. So, this is a very big project. There's people that are very much in favor of it. And as you've seen, there's still signs, yard signs on people's properties that are very against it. So, yes, it's a very controversial project. But apparently it's still moving along. It's just not really out in the public right at this moment as they're working with the private owners. So
understood. And I can understand people's concerns too. But, I just think something that is very community involved like this.
It is.
And that can, make for awesome workouts with your bike going back and forth in the city and seeing some new trails and stuff. But again, understood with all of
there are
the
people,
concerns of
that worry about, I understand your property rights and giving up some
100%.
easement. But then there's others who say, look at the major bike trails, pedestrian trails that you find in other places. The Cowboy Trail stretches across, my gosh, hundreds of miles.
Oh, yeah.
You look at Kearney. I think, isn't the Kearney trail system now, I had talked to someone who'd been on it not too long ago. And back in the days when I was in college in Kearney, it wasn't anything like it is now, but I think now it extends all the way from out west way into town. So I don't know. I haven't been
to Kearney that often.
I don't either.
Yeah.
I don't either. But anyway, there's a lot of communities that have, Lincoln's got quite a trail system in it. Of course, there was controversy when those were developed too.
Yep.
So it might be one of those things where, back when people were, when there was eminent domain exercised for the expansion of Highway 81 to 4-lane, to a lot of us, that seems like it's always been that way. And it wasn't really that long ago. That's only been about 20 years. Yeah. And there was a lot of court hearings on eminent domain about that, where they took, especially through the area of McCool, where they went and they bypassed the town. They cut people's their farming land right in half, with the highway. Now we all just take it for granted that it's always been that way, but I guess in the interstate came from somewhere.
Right. And now, speaking of the interstate's about to.
And I don't know what it was like back then, but I'm sure there was plenty of controversy about that back in the day.
In the 50s, right?
You're
60s.
taking a lot of land out of operation there. So I guess.
And the interstate, too, is in a few years probably about to be moved to 3 lanes around here, as they want to do that 3-lane project from Lincoln to Grand Island.
Yeah.
So, that's
I guess it's progress, but progress is always, it is painful.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
We'll see.
Then we'll come back here in 20 years from now and go, yeah, you remember when everybody...
Remember that? I know. And then you think, speaking of 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You want to talk about the Family Aquatic Center?
Yes. Yeah. They're celebrating their 20th birthday, right? Or 20th anniversary. Is it a birthday or an anniversary? That's what I never know. When something comes about, is it
if it's not a person, I think we're going to call it an anniversary.
I think it's a good point.
I'm not really sure,
right.
But
you're right.
What is really spooky to me is that I remember the whole thing as if it was yesterday, because there was so much that went on to... They passed a bond issue for that project. So people had to vote, on whether or not it wasn't a slam dunk. And there were a lot of people that didn't want to spend the money on it. They said it wasn't necessary. But meanwhile, we had the old 1930s swimming pool up by the country club. Yeah. And the thing was leaking so much water. I think at one point they said that in its last year, it leaked so much water that it was like they filled it twice a week. So they pumped so much into it, and they were losing so much that it was obscene, right?
Oh,
so it was over.
Yeah. And it needed a new swimming pool here in York.
Yeah, they needed it. And also, there was the gift from Lucille Minks. And Lucille Minks was this lady from Benedict who quietly was very wealthy. She lived a very humble life, and she was very wealthy. And so when she passed away, she left millions of dollars to the York County Community Foundation to be used for projects pertaining to children. So a good amount of that was given to this project. And a lot of people participated in the planning of what this was going to look like, where it was going to be. Hence, that's where Minks Park came from. It was named after Lucille, because then they used that too to purchase that land, and it became a city park. And the day of the opening, so this was 20 years ago. So do you know who the first person was to go down the big slide?
Would it be somebody I know?
I don't know.
I don't think I know.
Oh, you're so young. You probably don't. Okay, so it was Greg Adams. So okay. Greg Adams was our mayor then, and then he went on to become a state senator and the speaker of the legislature. Yep. He was the first person
one to go
down the slide. The first, what's it called? The fob, the check-in fob, so if you're like a seasonal, they give you a fob, and apparently you can just use it and you just go on in. Yep. So, and she still has it apparently. And the number on it is 100001. And that went to Margaret Brink, who was a city council member at the time. Oh, she was Margaret, big into parks. Every meeting, we need more green space. We need more green space. And then she'd laugh and she'd jingle her bracelets. And she was, just beside herself when this swimming pool or aquatic center was built. So that was super cool. So also attending the ribbon cutting, I think he cut the ribbon. He didn't want to because he said he had nothing to do with it. And he was only there for a photo op and he felt weird, was Tom Osborne.
Okay.
And he was a congressman at the time. So he was no longer coach, but he was Congressman Osborne. But they still made him take the scissors and cut the ribbon. And he was all embarrassed. And if you can imagine Tom Osborne being embarrassed, he felt really stupid, but he did it anyway.
A guy who was winning national championships and is just a little embarrassed about a ribbon cutting thing, and he's lost some tough games in his career.
He's a very pale man. So when he's embarrassed and he blushes, it's very obvious. You can really tell when Tom Osborne is embarrassed. And our city administrator at the time was Jack Vavra. I love Jack. And Jack always would say, things. He was kind of cynical. I knew him really well, and I knew he wasn't, quite as such a cynic, but he was always kind of cynical. And I caught him with tears in his eyes that day. And I said, "Oh, Jack, you're so soft." And he said, "Because I've wanted to see this happen so bad." And one more thing that's super cool is that there is still there is one person. Her name is Deb Davis. She is the admission manager at the Aquatic Center. She's the only person who has been there from day one until right this second. She's there right now.
Very good.
So she's still there.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, so
20 years old, huh?
20 years old.
And they've got a busy weekend. They've got their dive-in movie, I know, on Friday night, and then the beach party, right, on Friday
afternoon.
Here for Balloon Days.
So it's all about the Aquatic Center for Balloon Days.
Yeah, and cool area, the Minx Park area, the Family Aquatic Center, that Peyton Parker Lane playground that got put in. That's almost 3 years ago, maybe 3 years ago.
Time is just
flying.
Which
is just an awesome area for families and kids.
It really is, and I don't know why I noticed this, but the other day I had to go to the elementary school and I thought, oh my gosh, look at the trees in Minx Park. You got to remember, that was just barren ground. And they were just little seedlings. And, and you think, oh, it's going to take forever for us to have trees. And I thought, oh my gosh, they are coming along. I guess I'm just getting old.
So time flies, doesn't it? Oh, man. But we were talking then, Balloon Days coming up this weekend. A lot of events happening in York County. The sidewalk sales. McCool Junction has a cleanup days, I believe, scheduled as well coming up. And then Bradshaw Days also.
And for McCool, this is just for McCool.
Right.
So this is just their village is doing that for their residents. They're going to have big roll-off dumpsters at the village shop and the tree dump. I'm not sure where the tree dump is in McCool. Everybody that lives there knows where it is. And you can take items there. They say you cannot bring, and I have to give the list, no paint, no stains, no fluorescent tubes. I'm assuming that means fluorescent bulbs, correct?
Right.
And no batteries. And they want everybody to put things where they belong. So if you go to the tree dump and you go to the wood and debris pile that is just brush and actual limbs. So no treated wood.
Gotcha.
So they wanted that out there. And then we also have Bradshaw Days.
Yep.
If you can't find anything to do this weekend and you're bored, there's something wrong with you.
100%.
If you're in York County. So Bradshaw Days, they are having they're having their parade in the evening on Friday night, which is kind of fun instead of, that Saturday morning thing that a lot of people do. And then that'll also have a kids tractor pull and something called Skate the Block. I'm not really sure what exactly they're doing with that. Sounds like fun, something new for them. Then on Saturday,
get the roller skates out or something and cruise
maybe.
around. Yeah,
I don't really know.
We'll have to find out. Go up to Bradshaw Days. Find out. Yeah.
And then on Saturday, they're having garage sales, car show, petting zoo, inflatables, a hamburger feed, ice cream social, a blind lawnmower race. Sounds a little
that's interesting.
Sketchy.
Maybe need to sign some waivers for that. I don't know up there, but I don't know.
I've never heard of one before. It'd be something to see. They're also having a kids' money dig. I suppose they're going to bury money and kids dig for it. Watermelon.
Can adults join in on that too?
Yeah, it's just kids. I know. That's what I thought too. Watermelon feed, water fights. Gosh, they have a lot. Cornhole tournament, a beer garden, and a street dance.
Very good. That's all up in Bradshaw.
And then, of course, like we said, Friday night here in York, go to the Family Aquatic Center for their things. And then on Saturday, of course, we have sidewalk sales, poker run. Then, transportation exploration. I love that so much.
This is going to be, do they usually have like emergency vehicles in there too? Where
ambulances,
the kids,
fire trucks, tow trucks.
Oh, I would have gone insane for that if I was 6 years old. Yeah, take the family out to the Holtis there on Saturday morning.
It's the coolest thing. And then I think new this year, summer fair at the library yard. And then the city water fight is going to be back at 6th in Nebraska.
Are you doing that? Or
am I doing it?
The water fight?
Am I doing it?
Yeah.
Am I participating? No, of course not. No.
That's interesting. What is it? Water guns, water things.
Yeah, they have all that, but
water balloons.
It sounds like this year though they're going to bring out the fire hoses.
Okay.
Again,
okay. Yeah.
Which is so much more fun. I know the last couple of years they haven't been able to, and I don't remember why. But it sounds like this year it's going to go back to that really big traditional hose everybody down.
Gotcha.
I mean, it might sound fun. I'm not
I thought
doing
it was like water balloons. You're throwing them at each other.
Oh yeah, you do that too. There's a lot happening, but it's mostly for kids.
Yeah.
I'm a little too old. I'm a little too old for that water fight situation. Yeah. Although it'll be hot out, it would be fun. Good.
Would be fun.
And then you can go do bike at night on the trails, and then of course there's a golf tournament at the country club on Sunday.
Busy weekend here in York
County.
Lot
to do.
Yep. Thank you, Melanie. That's all we have here today. Anything else to touch on? No.
Just have a good time, and if I do participate in those water fights, I will do video and photos just to prove it to you.
All right, sounds good. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you next week.